Mommy and me back with another video. So before I get started, I want to first apologize deeply if you hear any hooting, hollering, screaming, screeching, singing. It is just my 2-year-old running wild and free. My bad, okay? Apart from that, I do have my handy dandy notebook with me. So if you see me glancing down a lot, it's just because I'm really trying to look over my notes to make sure I'm sharing everything I wanted to share with you guys. So today what I want to talk about is the top 10 reasons why I personally chose to homeschool. Number 1 being the great educational freedom it provides. And in layman terms, flexibility. So for me, I am a night shift nurse, as I said in my last video. If you haven't watched that, you want to go and check that out. Now, being a night shift nurse, I'm working while everyone's sleeping. Then when I come home, everyone's awake. My daughter is 2. She has no clue mommy is coming home tired and wanting to basically have a good, nice date with her bed. She sees me and says, woo, mommy's home, let's party. So with that, I'm kind of like forced to be awake for a while. So it helped with the homeschooling because now I have something to incorporate and I'm able to teach her and be with her during those times. Now, which brings me into my number 2, building strong relationship with your child. So back to the fact that I work at night. Because I'm working while she's sleeping and I get home when she's awake, if I did go the traditional route and say, okay, well, let me send her to daycare, she will be at daycare while I'm home from work. And by the time I get her to pick her up from daycare, then, I'll be going to work. Meaning I would barely be seeing her. And one thing I really wanted, especially as being a mom, is to have like really, really great and close relationships with my children. And I know being a nurse kind of affects that here and there, especially since it's a night nurse. So doing homeschooling, I really get to have that bonding with her and spend a lot of time with her doing the activities, singing, playing, laughing. Like we both really, really enjoy it. So number 3 would be the direct role that I'm able to play on her daily learning. Being a previous teacher, I have always loved the teaching aspect as well as the kids. So now, since I'm not in the school system anymore, I get to use all my teaching resources and skills on my daughter. And nothing gives me more satisfaction than teaching her and seeing her progress. Like, I love it to see that we did this today and we did this tomorrow and then by next week she's doing this. It just gives me great joy, and I love the fact that I can do that. Because with schools, you have teachers. With homeschooling, you are the teacher. You're creating those activities. You're making the field trips and the snacks and all of those things. It's in your hands. So you really get to be that, you get to have the first class tickets, first class seats to seeing your child just grow educationally. And it is beautiful. Number 4 would be the ability to introduce personal goals, values, and all of that into your child. So one of the big things for me is culture. And being that I'm from the Caribbean and my entire background is from all over the Caribbean, I'm able to teach her that here in homeschooling. Now, if you're in the United States, they're mainly teaching you U.S. history. You may get world history maybe in high school or so, but it's going to be like generalized. And homeschooling, I'm able to teach her our culture, her family's culture, where we grew up, the things, the different historical time frames, things that she would not get if she would go to a regular traditional school. As for religion, I am able to instill certain moral beliefs and values pertaining to that, because in most schools, if not all, apart from actual, private religious schools, which I cannot afford, they have took some things out of the school system where they're not teaching anymore. So I do really appreciate the fact with homeschooling that I'm in control of what she is learning. I lost track of the number. Okay, I think I'm on number 4. Incorporating vacation and other activities. And I think this is like one of my favorites. With school, you're waiting on winter break, summer break, spring break, whatever other break schools give. With homeschooling, you don't gotta worry about that. You create your vacations whenever you want because you're creating your schedule. And this works out perfectly for me because I don't have to sit here and be like, okay, is she gonna go daycare now or whatever. And of course, when she gets older, I don't have to worry about trying to compare and match our vacations to the school system schedule. I can do it whenever I feel like. Number 5, bullying and other social pressures. So of course with homeschooling, you really don't have to worry about that. Maybe a little sibling rivalry if you have more than one child. But apart from that, the bullying, the social pressures, that's practically non-existent because you're teaching them in your home. Now, I know a lot of people love to say, well, this is why a lot of homeschool kids are antisocial or don't know what's in the real world or things like that. And I beg to differ. My child is nowhere close to antisocial, and she's not going to be, because I'll make sure that I'm putting her in other activities. School is not the only thing that can make you social. There's a lot of things outside that can, and you just have to be willing enough to put your child into those activities. As for the social pressures, there's a lot of things going on in this world nowadays, and I prefer to be the one to expose my child to these things. Now, I'm not going to name topics off the top of my head right now, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So for me, I think it is good for parents themselves to be the ones to introduce these things to kids instead of them having to go to schools and pretty much picking it up from everyone else. Every child is different. Every family is different. Everyone had their own morals, beliefs, ethics. You don't really want your child just going and picking it up from someone else and then bringing that home. You really want to be able to instill that to them yourself. Not saying that you have to homeschool to do that. You can do this while your child goes to traditional school. It's just you have much more of a barrier because when they're going to traditional school, they're also having the open eyes to see everything else. You know what I mean? And not only see it, but possibly follow it. At home, of course, you're still going to want to explain everything else to them, but you can kind of direct them like, hey, this is kind of the path where we need to lead. These are other things that you're possibly going to see out there. So I just like the control of me as the parent being able to expose her and my future kids when the time comes to certain things. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back, and I have my little one with me because she's just running around and bumping into things, so I'm sorry for the pause. So back to what I was saying, number 7 would be the fact that you can focus on your child's interests and personal learning. So for me, for example, yes, my daughter is just 2, however, I am able to pick up on things she likes more. For example, she loves to sing. So what I've done is incorporate singing into practically everything that I teach her. So if we're doing days of the week, month of the year, everything, I put it into a song. And in that way, she picked it up quicker because she likes to sing. Now I'm able to see what she likes and see her interest because she's home with me. And I can see, okay, well, she's really pulling towards this, or she's really pulling towards that. That's kind of the benefit you get, and you can personalize their learning that way. Number 8, less distraction, and they become very self-motivated. So when you're home, you get that one-on-one time. Even if you have multiple kids, you can still spend one-on-one time with them each. Being a former teacher, I am too aware of how many kids you have with one you. And it's very difficult. You have about maybe 20-30 plus kids in your classroom in some places. The school that I taught at, it was a low income school, so my classroom was full at all times. I had about 30 kids. And with that, it's like you might see kids that have difficulties, but you have so many kids to deal with. And that's just one period. You have so many kids to deal with in each period that you can't really stop the class to focus on each single person. It's not individualized. For me, what I did when I was teaching back then is kind of put students in groups according to their levels, so I can spend more time with certain kids. Or what I would do is pick one of like my brighter students and put them in a group with some people that were struggling with certain things, and use my students as helping tools to go ahead and say, okay, teach this topic or teach that topic. But it's difficult. And you don't want your child to, unfortunately, bless you again. You don't want your child to, unfortunately, be one of those students that's kind of like left behind. I know they have the whole No Child Left Behind, but I've seen too many kids get left behind. And that's one of the reasons why I switched over to homeschool, because now I can make sure that my child is learning, you know? Okay, mommy's making a video right now, okay? So you have to... Okay, yeah, you want to say hi? Okay, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, they didn't see you wave. You want to wave in the camera? Say hi. Go ahead.
Hi.
All right, so now we're going to be quiet so mommy can finish talking, okay? All right? Okay. Anyways, so as I was saying, with the homeschooling, I'll just wrap this one point up. The homeschooling, you are able to sit here and focus on your child. Now, they're also gaining that self-motivation at this point, and I will have a video further, like sometime in the future, with our regular homeschool routine and her sitting down doing her work. She's just 2. I'm gonna be 2.5 soon, but because we've been doing this homeschooling since she was 1, she's already used to everything. So if I say, hey Alyssa, we're about to go to homeschooling, go to your desk, she's gonna go to her desk, she's gonna sit down, she knows exactly what to sit, she'll take out her wooden puzzle that we do for the week, and she'll start taking that off and doing it. Like, she's already into the routine of what she needs to do. Once we're in our little schooling, she know, okay, it's time to focus. We're not dealing with the tablet, we're not dealing with the TV or videos, we're dealing with school. So she's already showing me that, self-motivation to do things, and she's just 2, so I can only imagine when she gets older how it's going to be. And number 8 would be community involvement and extracurricular activities. So these are one of my favorites as well. The fact of no time restraints gives you the ability to put your child in whatever you want. Now, I know for me, when I was in school, it was pretty difficult to join other extracurricular activities because I have to make sure I have time for school. And then, of course, homework after school. So me wanting to join this and this and this and this, I only could have done it for a small amount of time because the balance was not there. Now, with my daughter, I can join her and sign her up for anything because I'm creating that schedule for her. So right now the only thing I have her in is swimming because she's 2. There's kind of like limited things that I can do with her at her age, but I do plan for when she gets older to join her up to anything that she wants so she can figure out what her likes and dislikes are, and I don't have to worry about school being an issue or her having to come home and do homework and all these things. So you definitely have that ability to, have your child join extra things as well as do community involvement. So something for me that I really, really want to instill into my child and future children is being involved in the community. Whether that's, going to feed the less fortunate or doing like food drives, whatever the case is, I want them to have available time to do these things. And being that I can do that with homeschooling is like a plus for me. Last but not least is number 10, and that is building real life skills. So we all know what school teaches us, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to sit here and make anyone feel any type of way. I'm just here to speak facts on what I feel. I'm gonna keep it real at all times. Who doesn't like it? This might not be the video for you, but school has done us such a big disservice. I did not learn how to do my taxes in school, nor learn how to buy a house or budget or anything like that. And I feel like those are such important skills that our kids need to learn. And if I was able to know what I know now back then, I think I would have been a little better off. Well, no, a lot better off. So I feel like with homeschooling, you're able to build those real life skills. You can get their hands dirty and not just do the school book work of things, but you also can do the hands-on type of things. Seeing that, okay, for example, some kids just don't like school, and it's okay. They might not be very booky, if that's even a word, but they may be really good with their hands. So being able to give them the best of both worlds in homeschooling, it does a lot, So if we do a garden team, I'm able to carry her out and say, okay, let's garden, let's feel what soil feels like, things like that. And then not even that alone, teaching wise. So I'm able, of course she's 2 now, but as she gets older, I'm able to teach her certain things like, hey, okay, let's start learning how to manage money. Right now we're just learning coins and, which coin is what. But once she gets older, okay, let's try to budget. Let's see how to budget a checking account, how to budget a savings account, you know. And as she gets older, how to do your taxes, accounting, all these type of things. You don't get that in regular school. It's like a strict, same type of mundane curriculum that everyone's getting the same basic math and history and English. But homeschooling, you're getting to really do those real life skills and also being able to bring everything alive. Now, with schooling, of course, a lot of teachers, and there's great teachers out there in the system, but there's so much things that just one person can do. Like, you know, the restriction is there. And of course, they try the field trips and things like that. But when you're homeschooling, you can do that. You can bring everything to life. So if I'm doing a zoo team for her. We do a different team every week. I'm doing a zoo team probably like around summertime, so coming into June, July. And what I plan to do when we do that zoo team is bring her to the zoo. So now I'm showing her book-wise, oh, okay, this is a monkey, this is this is that. Then she's going to go to the zoo and see these things. When we did our ocean team couple months ago, I brought her to the aquarium. And she was able to say, oh, okay, whale and this and that. And, you know, you get to connect the two worlds together. And I really like that about homeschooling. Anyways, guys, so that's my top 10 reasons. I'm also going to list it below just in case it got a little confusing. I know we had a little pause. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe down below if you want to see the future videos I have coming. All right, until next time. No, we don't put that in our mouth. Until next time, guys. See you later. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.